Okay, the next step in creating your letters for your sketchbook cover is dividing each letter into 5 separate segments. So really all you're going to do at this point is take your pencil and divide each one up, and it doesn't matter how you do it. I'm going to kind of go with curved lines because my letters are very curvy. And so then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're going to do that to each one of your letters. And then, I think you get the idea, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I would do that to my other letters, and we're going to move on. Okay, so we're going to come back to this packet here. And what we're going to do is we're going to be on step number 3 right here. And we're going to be creating your patterns that are going to go inside your letters. Okay, so this is where we're headed. So on this one, I give you 2 squares to come up with 2 different ideas for the same category. So category number 1, you're going to create 2 separate patterns that include the stippling technique. The stippling technique, if you remember, is the dotted technique. So this here, okay, that's your stippling technique. And so in my background here, I just used it in the background of my little design. Okay, the other thing that I want you to be aware of is lots of times people forget this step right here. This time what I want you to do is create a variety of value using that technique within your little square right there. Okay, now I don't want you to fill that square up with just the stippling technique and go from like dark to light. I already know that you can do that. Okay, what I want you to do is create a little mini design that uses that stippling technique. I put it in the background, and then I kind of drew up this weird, like, kind of almost abstract flower type design. Okay, so that's my example. Don't copy it. You have 2 little spaces there to kind of figure out what you want to do for that idea. Category number 2, you're going to create 2 patterns that have a darker value. Now, what does that mean? You're going to create a pattern inside there where the whole thing is practically filled up, except for just a little bit of white space coming through there. Now, hopefully you have this packet here available, and this packet is for you to beg, borrow, steal ideas from. It has all sorts of stuff in there that you might be able to use or modify for this part of figuring out your patterns. Okay, so really kind of anything would work as long as it's darker. Like you could use this sort of zebra type pattern, but maybe it's reversed. Maybe all that white is filled in really, you know, with your Sharpie marker black, and those are left white. But you can modify any of these, or you can use them and draw them to the best of your ability. Okay, so again, category number 2, 2 examples of something that is very dark in value. And what I mean by that, you can just shade it in. Okay, you can just shade in the value. The next one, you're going to create 2 designs that have that hatching design, or cross hatching, or excuse me, hatching value technique, or cross hatching technique, or both. And then you're going to include a variety of line thickness within that. So what I did for mine is that I just started in this corner, and I just kept coming back to that vanishing point out here in the corner, and I drew these little wiggly lines. And then I drew wiggly lines going this way, okay, and I just let them get closer together off in that corner. So technically I used hatching lines and cross hatching. The other thing that you need to have is a variety of line thickness. So I just went through and I filled in some of my lines to be a little bit thicker. Now, there are all sorts of hatching and cross hatching lines in this packet. You can modify it. Like I could use this one right here. However, you'd want to modify it so that some of your lines are thicker and have that variety of line thickness. So you'd need to figure out what you're going to do to modify that. These little zigzaggy lines would work That's kind of cool. This would work. This here would work. This is just hatching lines, but again, you need to figure out how you're going to modify it a little bit so that it fills the entire category of getting that variety of line thickness. The next one, you're gonna create two patterns that have a light value. So what does that mean? You're gonna have a lot of white space in that square coming through, okay? So please don't just copy mine and do some other random shape like a square and put polka dots in the background. That's not what I want. I don't want you copying my idea. Grab something out of here, modify it, or you might be very creative and come up with your own idea. This last one, you're going to create two patterns that contain one recognizable shape, but you're going to do it in a variety of sizes. So I have stars. That's what I started out with, and then I just filled my background space with circles. You don't just have to use a recognizable like geometric shape. You could do something else. You could put flowers, you could do hearts, you could do any random organic shape, okay? But I just want to have a variety of sizes, and you don't even have to fill in your background with anything like what I did if you don't want to, okay? So after that, you're gonna snap a picture and upload it, and then you and I will converse back and forth and figure out which one of your two ideas that you're gonna do.